What if I told you that to reach the top, you'd have to sacrifice someone? Every entrepreneur dreams of building a 7, 8, or even 9-figure empire, but only a select few ever get there. Why? Because those select few are willing to make the tough decisions others won't. The good news is I've built a system for my clients at selfmastery.co that's helped them blast out 5 to 7 hours of deep focused work every day, close $1 million deals and add over $15,000 a month to their income. But it involves you sacrificing someone to make it happen. So in this video, I'm going to show you who you need to sacrifice to hit your next level, the system to help you get there fast, and how to use it to explode both your performance and business. So to start, let me show you who you need to sacrifice. And if you're tired of seeing people live the life you want, all thanks to their business, this is going to give you a clear path on how you can change that. So let me show you how this idea was used to build a single store into a $100 billion company. Howard Schultz grew up in Brooklyn, New York, working his way up from a modest background to a job in sales for a small coffee equipment company. It was there he discovered a tiny store in Seattle selling high quality beans. Fascinated by the company, he joined as the director of marketing. But in 1983, a trip to Milan changed everything. Schultz saw the Italian coffee culture, cafes as vibrant social hubs, and realized that the coffee shop he worked for could be more than just a store. His vision? A place where coffee was more than a product, it was an experience. However, the owners weren't convinced, and they wanted to stick to their original business model. This is where Schultz faced a defining moment. He realized he needed to leave and start something of his own to fully pursue his vision. But it wasn't an easy decision. He was walking away from a secure, well-paying job into the uncertainty and risk of entrepreneurship. With his own savings and by raising funds from investors, Schultz opened Il Giornale, I think that's how you pronounce it, I'm not sure. Hopefully I didn't mess that up. A coffee house modelled after the Italian coffee bars he admired. The venture was a success, and in 1987 Schultz was able to purchase the small coffee store he used to work at from its owners, and now nearly 40 years later, Starbucks is a $100 billion company. But what has this got to do with sacrifice? Well, this acquisition marked the beginning of a complete transformation, not just of the company, but of Schultz himself. You see, the old Howard Schultz, a driven but somewhat insecure employee, had to evolve into a visionary CEO, capable of building a global brand. He had to destroy old habits, old beliefs, old ways of working, and build new skills, new mindsets, and new habits. That old version of him, still stuck with limiting beliefs and habits holding him back, would never have been able to build a global empire, and so he had to become an entirely new person. But how can you use this idea for yourself? Well, let me show you. Imagine you were climbing a mountain, following one specific path to get to the top. Well, what if once you got to the top, you realized that there was another mountain in the distance, and so you decided to climb it next? Well, to climb that other mountain, you have to follow another specific but different path, right? And if you try to do the same things that got you up mountain 1 to get up mountain 2, you're not going to get very far. Both paths require you to go different ways and take different actions and make different decisions to follow them. The small mistakes that you got away with in the first path will screw you over on the second path, and the limitations you put on yourself that made the first hike hard will make the second one impossible. And the same thing happens in your business. You've built your business to a certain scale, whether that's 10k a month, 20k a month, or 50k a month, thanks to certain actions and decisions. But those actions and decisions won't get you past that point, and so you need to change them. So how do you do that? Well, before I can show you, you need to understand the pyramid of achievement. And this is the key to ensuring you create lasting change in your actions and decisions, allowing you to take both yourself and your business to the next level. So if you imagine a pyramid, at the top you have the results you get. Below that you have your actions and decisions. These create the results you get. And below that you have your identity. This controls your actions and decisions. For you to grow your business and change the top row of the pyramid, you have to change your actions and decisions, but to do that, you have to change your identity. However, here's the problem, and this is where most entrepreneurs go wrong and mess up, and why only a select few ever build anything great. Your identity is your collection of beliefs about yourself and the world. These beliefs give order to the chaos of reality. They are the things you believe to be true simply based on repeated experiences throughout your life. And your mind craves this order to give a sense of understanding and control, and of course, this feeds your ego. And so if you want to change your beliefs so that you can change your identity, improve your actions, and grow your business, your ego won't be happy. It doesn't want to break down this sense of order and control that these beliefs provide, and so it'll fight back by exaggerating your bad habits, your limiting beliefs, and your doubts, causing you to self-sabotage. This is why there is a sacrifice. to become the version of you that is capable of growing your business and achieving your goals, you can't just become that person. You have to destroy your old self. Without sacrificing this version of you, it will continue to cause you to self-sabotage and hold you back from growing. Whether that's through setting 5 different goals causing you to split your focus and achieve none of them, or whether that's through procrastination so that you don't do the work that gets results in your business, or whether that's through messing up on your sales calls so that you don't sign any clients. You see, imagine inside your mind that there's a room, and that room is only big enough for one version of you. You cannot fit that person you need to be in that room until you kick the old you out. And so you must sacrifice them. You must drag them out of that bloody room. But how can you make this sacrifice yourself? Well, let me show you one of the systems we use at selfmastery.co to help our clients make this shift effortlessly. It's called the reprogramming protocol, and it's got 3 steps. So let me show you step 1, and this is step 1 for a reason. If you don't do this, the rest of this won't work, and as a result, you'll forever stay stuck where you are, limited by your old self. So imagine you were back on that mountain, only this time you're at the bottom. And you start taking a random path to what you think is the top, only to get halfway up and realize, oh, this path isn't actually taking me to where I thought it was. And it's all because you didn't take the time to identify the right path. So what step 1 involves is you figuring out who the person you need to become to achieve your goal is. And you do that by getting incredibly clear on the habits, the beliefs, the mindsets, the behaviors, the actions, and the life of that person that you need to be. I mean ridiculously clear. Sit down in a room alone for 30 minutes and just think about what the person who would be capable of achieving your goals would be like in all these areas. This way, not only do you know what you need to build to become that person, but you can figure out what you need to remove to sacrifice your old self by looking at what habits, mindsets, beliefs, behaviors, and actions you currently have that the person capable of achieving your goals doesn't have, and then removing them. And that brings us to step 2. And this is how you start rebuilding that foundational row of the pyramid for explosive results in your business. So remember that room inside your mind. Well, as much as there's only room for one person, there's 2 ways to get the old you out. You either cut off the oxygen that the old you breathes and force them out, or you start building up the new you and drag the old you out. But how do you do that? Well, you turn all the habits, mindsets, beliefs, actions, habits, and behaviors you wrote about in step 1 into a manifesto. You do this by writing about yourself in the 3rd person, as if you already have all of these things, and by turning each of them into an affirmation that you already have them. You then read this manifesto every morning and every night. You see, your beliefs and identity are formed through repeated experience. But there are 2 types of experience. You have external, things that happen in front of your eyes, and internal, things that happen behind your eyes, inside your own mind. And since your beliefs and identity dictate your actions and in turn results, your thoughts, a form of experience that forms your beliefs, can quite literally change your life. This is actually why placebos work. People get real results because they genuinely believe that they will. That is the power of your mind. So all you're doing here by reading this manifesto daily is rewiring beliefs, building up that new version of you and dragging that old you out of the room. Now let me be clear, this is not magic. Nobody's going to hand you $1 million just because you read affirmations every day. It is not magic, okay? What it does is rewire your beliefs, which opens up new possibilities for action. And when you act differently, you get different results. But to act differently over the long run, you need to change your paradigm, your beliefs about yourself and the world, your identity, so that you can change the actions you see possible. This is not manifestation, this is not magic, it is not a trick, it is not a hack, it is psychology. Which brings us to step 3. And this is how you cut off the oxygen for your old self and make them want to get out of that damn room. So let me show you exactly how to make this happen. Every old habit, mindset, belief, action, or anything you do that the old you would do is like oxygen for your old self. It keeps them alive and prevents the sacrifice from happening. And so what you need to do is completely cut the oxygen out. Anything your old self did and anything your new self does not do, stop doing it. Remove it. Cut out all the junk food. Stop spending hours of your day scrolling your phone. Stop drinking. Every single thing that the old you did, you need to stop. This is why so few people ever make it. They keep one old habit, one belief, one mindset, one behavior alive, which keeps your old self alive and eventually leads to your old self growing stronger and more of your old habits, behaviors, beliefs, and mindsets coming back. Yes, it's tough, but it's only tough for the first week, and that's how fast you can make this part of this identity shift in a week. But for it to happen so fast, you need to take drastic actions. You need to make a big change to get big results. Look, you can take this slower, okay? but you either consciously cut out old habits and actions and behaviors and mindsets and beliefs on a consistent, frequent interval, like every 3 or 5 days or every week, or you just cut them all out at once. And so long as you're doing your manifesto, you build up your new identity to be someone who doesn't actually do those things anymore, making it easier to not do those things and to do the right things for your goals, making this identity shift easier. If you cut out all the oxygen at once, you make it easier for your new self to drag your old self out. But by cutting off the oxygen bit by bit, you make it harder, because there's going to be parts of your old self still alive, giving your old self the opportunity to get stronger and to cause you to self-sabotage and bring back an old mindset, behavior, habit, or belief. Look, like I said, you can either cut them all out at once, which is what I would recommend, or you cut them out bit by bit. That second option is longer and it is harder, although it is counterintuitive to think so. But of course, you will, when you're doing this, face resistance. Those tempting feelings that try to drag you back to your old ways and abandon the new you. This is your old self fighting back. But there is a way to beat it, so if you want to learn how to rewire your brain to crave doing the hard things that lead to growth, watch this video here.